So, let's paint a picture really quickly. You're pretty new to squad, and you've not long got on after a hard day at work. You're about 45 minutes into a game of random advanced and secure, and you're fairly enjoying yourself. And you suddenly see a dreaded message pop up on your screen. You have been promoted to squad leader. Or alternatively, the game has just ended and is in the staging phase for the next game, and all of the squads are either armor, locked, or simply just full. Well, after this video, I can promise you will be ready to be the Sigma Chad that you are and carry the burden of being the squad lead that has either been dumped upon you or you've decided to take the opportunity and make a squad so all of the other newbies can join you and enjoy the game too. Hello everyone, my name's Honcho, and welcome to my squad leading crash course for new players. First up, we will start at the very basics. This one's a given, but you really need to have a working microphone. You can do it without one, but people will get a bit funny with you if you don't. Remember, squad is all about teamwork, and if no one can communicate with you properly, they're going to get a bit frustrated. Naturally, we all know that V is to talk in local and B is to talk to your squad. Well, G is to speak in command comms. This is where other SLs can talk to inform each other what's going on, alert about enemy vehicles, or discuss the next move in the game plan. I will forewarn you though, it can get a bit dramatic sometimes. You can also speak to other squad leaders direct by using your number pad on your keyboard. Keys 1 through to 9 will direct call that specific squad leader, and number 0 goes straight to the the commander. If you are making a squad, I highly recommend you call it New Squad Leader or New to Squad Leading. Just like in my new player friendly guide where I said you need to tell people that you're new, this does the same thing, as other players and squad leaders will be more patient with you and willing to help. Same goes over command comms. Whether you've been promoted to SL or just started the squad, just say, hey, I've never done this before, what do you need me to do, or where do you want me? Naturally, you need to have a squad leader kit. It can be one of the infantry SL kits, armor squad leader, or lead pilot. They all work. However, I highly recommend using the infantry SL kit, and I will explain why shortly. Now, the main reason you need a squad leader kit overall is many servers have an auto kick feature that, after a set period of time, will kick people from the game who are squad leader but don't have the SL kit. Now, the main reason the infantry SL kit is more preferable is you only need one other person near you to place a radio or a rally, whereas the armor role, you need 3 people, so that can get a bit difficult. Okay, so you have a squad open, you have your SL kit, now you need to know how to build things. First and foremost, you will need a logistics truck that has supplies in it. Most come with around 1500 ammo and 1500 construction as default. These are marked on the map by a truck icon with 3 bullets inside, basically an ammo icon. Once you have your logi truck and your guys are inside, drive to the location that you wish to build. Try and find somewhere that's not too obvious, somewhere that has a good amount of cover, and somewhere you think, nah, no one's going to walk over here. Park your logi as close as possible to this, and then get out. You then want to press and hold T to bring up the squad leader menu. From there, you want to select and click on Place Radio. You will now have a green highlighted radio in front of you ready to place. Use the arrow keys to rotate it and then left click to place it when you are happy. Once placed, instruct someone by the logi to unload the supplies, preferably construction first. Now, if the radio is highlighted red, that means it cannot be put down because it's probably colliding with something, and if it's orange, it's within a radio excluded area. I will get onto this shortly. Once your radio has been placed, press and hold T again, and then scroll to Deployables. The next option is Tech Structures, and finally HAB. The same principle comes again. Look for a good place for it, where people can get in and out easy enough, and it's nicely secluded and hidden away. But it's a very good idea to not build right next to your radio. This is something that I covered in this video right here. In fact, if you open up your map, you will see a blue and grey ring around your radio. The inner blue circle is your building radius. You can build anywhere within that circle. The outer ring is an exclusion zone. This prevents any other friendly radios being built within that area. This is probably one of the biggest trip-ups people have when trying to work out why they can't build a radio in the first place, as they are actually too close to somebody else's radio. Again, you can use the arrow keys to rotate your hab for better placement and slap it down. Now, immediately after building this, go back into Tech Structures and place down either 1 or 2 ammo crates. This is where everyone can rearm from, and the reason why I say 2 is if it's a busy hab, it stops everyone crowding around 1 crate, and as someone who runs a lot of infantry fighting vehicles, if I ever get near a hab, the first thing I do is shoot and destroy the ammo crate. This is to stop any AT soldiers from rearming. So if you have 2 ammo crates, it still gives people a good chance to rearm in the situation that I turn up. Naturally, this is where your squad now comes in. Let your guys know hab and ammo crates have been placed, as they are the only ones who can dig it up. If you look directly at it and press U on your keyboard, you will place a defense mark on it, and you can now let your squad know, hey, there's a hab on defense mark that needs digging up, please. And watch as your people gravitate towards it to dig it up. Now, yes, I know it's a milsim game, but remember, it is a game at the end of the day. Manners go a long way. Not everyone here is wanting to create that military life, so please treat people with respect. Now, using the same menu as before, you will have other things like fortifications and weapons that you can also place. The same principle of placing your hab down is the same as placing down, say, a 50 cal bunker or a watchtower. Just make sure you have enough construction or ammo to do so. Next up, you probably want to place a rally down. You only need one other person with you, as mentioned earlier, and you want to do this a good 200 to 300 meters away from your hab. So if your hab gets destroyed or disabled, you guys have somewhere else to spawn to save it. Okay, so that's the very basics down. You now know how to communicate, you now know what kit you need and how to build. So it's time to talk about a few basic communicate, spawn to save. So if you're happy earlier and you want to place a rally down, you only need one other person with you, as mentioned earlier, and you want to do this a good 200 to 300 meters away from your hab. So if your hab gets destroyed or disabled, you guys have somewhere else to spawn to save it. Okay, so that's the very basics down. You now know how to communicate, you now know what kit you need and how to build. So it's time to talk about a few basic strategies and game plan, so you know what you're doing when the game starts. Now I'm basing this on random, advanced and secure, as that's about 85% of the games that we all play on a general day-to-day basis. As a new squad leader, I highly recommend you take up what we call as backcapping and a defensive role. Backcapping is where you drive from your main to the first uncaptured objective, which will be marked on the map. This allows the more experienced players to push further ahead and get set up for more attacking focused positions or ambushes. It's a very good idea to not build a hab on the first two objectives, as every team always has that one small squad in a jeep who dedicate their time to driving around looking for undefended habs on places that aren't active objectives. Now it may not sound like much, but every radio they destroy is 20 tickets off of your team's total. Usually the third capture point is a good place to build your first hab, but if you are ever unsure, just press G and ask the other squad leaders for their input. What I'm telling you is a bit of a generalization, but it's something that I based my learning process as a squad leader in when I first started out. Now the reason why I say take a defensive role is you don't have to worry about where the enemy is, because the enemy knows where it isn't. Sorry, I had to do that. Defense is the backbone of your team. If nobody is defending the active objective, you and your team will get rolled and have a hard time. So with you defending, it's easy for you to work out where you need to be because the enemy comes to you. Even if there's already another squad on defense, defend with them. It makes it even harder for the enemy team as they now have to break through two squads instead of one. Honestly, the amount of teams that don't have a dedicated defense squad is why they get rolled so hard during random, advanced and secure. Now I might get some flack for this. Don't be afraid to build your defensive hab directly on the point. Now the reason why I say this before you get your pitchforks out is a lot of people get stage fright when fights break out and will naturally stay around their hab whilst engaging the enemy. Now, whilst this is generally a bit of a no-no, if your hab is on the active objective, people are still able to defend whilst they're on the back foot. Whereas if your hab is 300 meters away in some random hangar and the enemy team have got everyone pinned in that building, all the blueberries are going to be around that hab off the objective while the enemy team are literally laughing at you whilst capping and you can't do a thing about it. And remember, you also place that rally 300 meters away off point. So if you do lose that hab, you've got somewhere to counter from. Now I know defense can get quiet occasionally, so don't be tempted to naturally gravitate towards the attacking objective because the enemy team will sweep in underneath you when you least expect it. You can go on the offensive if that's what the other squad leaders want you to do. If that's the case, you want to get pretty close to the enemy's point, but stay quiet and stay hidden. Place your radio down and then build the hab as far away from it as possible. This cuts down walking time from your spawn dramatically and makes it harder for the enemy team to find your radio. Once you've done this, start advancing on the enemy. Make sure this time you don't push from the hab or run in a straight line from it. Try to go on a bit of a flank before you start attacking, because as you start attacking, the enemies will start pushing in the direction that you came from. So if you push directly from your hab, they're eventually going to find it. Now you can add people in your squad to fire team roles by clicking on their name and dragging them into either Bravo or Charlie. This lets them mark things on the map for you and your team, and they can also help by placing and building fortifications. Now, with this, you may often get, hey, can you range Bravo for me? To do this, you simply open the map, look for that purple icon, right-click it, click on your green squad number, and then press Place Move Marker. This gives your squad member the range that they need. Your map is going to be your best friend in all of this. Make sure to check it frequently, looking for enemy marks, as this will give you an indication where the enemy team is and where they are coming from. If you want to mark down anything that the enemy has, just simply right-click on your map, move over to that red helmet marker, and this gives you a whole bunch of options of enemy marks, from infantry to vehicles to structures. This all helps keep your team informed to what's going on, even if you haven't spoken to them. And the marks don't have to be 100% accurate either. You hear a tank near you, just mark where you heard that sound come from. Just be sure to tell the other squad leaders, hey, I placed a tank mark. It's not accurate, but that's where I heard it. And honestly, that's pretty much all there is to being a squad leader. Just start off simple and grow from there. Remember to always treat people how you would like to be treated yourself. It is a game at the end of the day. You will find, as you learn and develop as a squad leader, the same people will want to run with you over and over again, and it won't be long until you are a regular at it. Games can easily be a waffle stomp, and things can and do go really badly from time to time. Don't take it personally. There's usually a whole host of reasons as to why your team got rolled in the first place. Now, I've probably left a bunch of bits and pieces out that some of you are going, oh my god, why didn't you mention this? But I'm trying not to make this video a whole host of information overload. So I feel that I have included the main things that will allow a new player to get started up and running pretty quickly. But if any of you do have some good SL tips to share, please do so in the comments down below, because I know a lot of people do use these for more information on my videos, and feel free to share them on my Discord server as well. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more squad guides, gameplay and updates. Thank you all for watching, take care, and I will catch you in the next video.
Here's everything you need to know to play squad. If you don't understand the map, you're going to be lost. These are the basics you need to know. Blue dots are your teammates, green dots are people in your squad, the big green dot in the map, that's your squad leader. Any red kit icons is enemy positions manually marked by your squad leaders and fighting leaders. As a good rule of thumb, anywhere where your teammates aren't, the enemy could be. Also, be careful for red warning areas for friendly artillery. Attack objectives has a sword marker icon, defense objectives has a shield marker icon. A captured objective that is not active, shown by not having a border icon around it, can't be captured or lost. Neutral flags are objectives not controlled by any team and can be captured as long as they're capped in order. If you stay within 200 meters of an active objective, you'll probably be in the action. Each big grid is 300 meters. If you zoom in, you can see a 100 meter grid and then 33 meters. Pay attention for your squad leader move mark. It can be seen on the map and also the compass. If in doubt, ask your squad lead. There are 3 main types of spawn points. Main base, don't spawn here unless squad lead says so. Habs, make sure your squad is nearby before spawning. Rallies, if your squad's still using it, use it. If in doubt, ask your squad lead. They want you with the squad and not spawning in the wrong place. Believe me. To spawn in, all you need to do is double click on the spawn icon on your map. If you spawned in the wrong place, you can respawn by pressing the button above the tab key, then type respawn, then hit enter. You might have to help build a hab, but don't worry, here's how. Once your squad leader places the raid, you might have to help above the tab key, then type respawn, then hit enter. You might have to help build a hab, but don't worry, here's how. Once your squad leader places the radio, your team will now have a forward operating base, also known as a FOB. You can now go to your logistics vehicle, also known more commonly as a Logi, and click and hold on unload construction. It's important to do construction first so your squad can start to build the hab straight away. Then, get your shovel out and hold left click to build the hab. To get more supplies, drive back to main base and hold F to load construction and ammo. If you come across an enemy rally point, all you need to do is get close enough to destroy it. If you find a hab, once you and a teammate get close enough, you'll disable it. Then dig it down with a shovel by holding right click. Don't fully destroy it though. Leave it on the foundations so they can't build another one. And find the radio. Once you've found the radio, dig it down. When you can't dig the radio down anymore, the radio will go into its bleed out stage until it's destroyed. Once the radio is fully destroyed, the hab and fob will be destroyed too. Use your time in vehicles to learn what your teammates look like, so when the fighting starts, you know who not to shoot and therefore who to shoot. Here's every faction's basic rifleman. Really try and get a good feel on the shape and features of the helmets, the backpacks, the chest rig areas, and the good feel on the shape and features of the helmets, the backpacks, the chest rig areas, and the overall cores and camo. Don't worry about the small details, you can't rely on that stuff at long range anyway. You're better off spending that extra time on the key areas. If in doubt, check your map before shooting. If you're a medic, the default bandage button is 5. Hold left click to patch someone, hold right click to patch yourself up. Once patched, press the 5 key again to get the medical kit out, and then once again, hold left click to heal someone, hold right click to heal yourself. 99% of the time, it's better to fully heal someone up first before picking someone else up so they can cover you effectively. Also, you don't have to be a medic to bandage someone, but it will be slower. If you're a rifleman, when you first spawn in, press 6 twice to get out your ammo bag. Then press 1 to switch back to your primary weapon. So you only need to press 6 once to get your ammo bag out again. This speeds things up so you don't waste time with your shovel animation when your teammates need your ammo fast. So now we can join the server. The filter tool is actually quite useful. Each server uses tags to tell you what type of server it is. Put in your language, playstyle, relax is probably the best to ease you in, experience, new player friendly. Each server has a slightly different feel. You just need to find the ones that you like and the ones you really enjoy. If your favorite server has a long queue, you can load up the firing range first, then join the queue, and it will connect you as soon as it can. That way, in the meantime, you can practice in the range. Once joined, hit enter to join the team it's placed you on. Don't make a squad, join someone else's. If you make a squad, people will expect you to know what you're doing and tell them what to do. I suggest picking medic, rifleman, MG, or GL. Try not to pick the RPG class. If you mess up, you can put the whole squad in a really bad situation. It has a lot more responsibility. Side note, some squad leaders can be fussy with the marksman kit, so unless you want to roll the dice of being kicked, just ask your squad leader. Some like it, some don't. Keep compass bearings in local comms, which is the blue voice channel. For squad comms, use references everyone can use, such as contact, north of the objective, 100 meters in the tree line. Try not to call out coordinates, as you don't want to make everyone have to stop and work out where this is. I strongly recommend you change 3 default keybinds to make your experience so much more enjoyable. If you can't shoot, move and communicate at the same time, you're putting yourself, your squad and the entire team at a disadvantage. The default keys are V and B. If this is comfortable for you, keep it, or change them to whatever your normal comms button are. If you're looking for some ideas, I use the 2 buttons on the side of my mouse. You'll be communicating a lot in squad, so make it something that is comfortable, easy, and doesn't limit yourself. The next keybind is the map and scoreboard. Once again, if you can't move, communicate, and check your map at the same time, you have a problem. You're going to be checking your map a lot in squad, so make it comfortable without limiting yourself. For me, I just swap them around, and if you change your local comms, you can put the map zoom to V or whatever you're comfortable with. Make sure that your mic is working before you join the server. You don't want to be giving it the big comms for no one to hear you the whole game. I definitely haven't done that before, and you don't want to be sorting that out in the middle of chaos. Also, you can change fire mode by clicking your middle mouse button. That's everything you need to know to get started. If you want to see more of my content, check
This is a quick video about ranging your weapons. If you've already identified how far away the target is, see our other short video, then you're going to need to make sure that you're adjusting your fire accordingly in order to hit them. Not all, but the vast majority of weapons are ranged for 200 meters. So if I aim right at that target and I'm Eyes up soldiers, here's a quick video with some squad tips about finding the range in engagements. Knowing the range between you and your target is super important, both for shooting their ass and for calling out to your teammates so they have good intel about what's going on in the battlefield. There's a few tools you have to quickly determine range. If you haven't been playing for a million hours, you may not be able to immediately say, oh, that bush over there I can tell is X meters away. So here are some of the tools you have at your disposal. First off, most easily, you've got squad leader marks. If I, the squad leader, throw an observe mark on that, I immediately get an indicator on my compass that says it's 350 meters away. If I throw this over here, 1,000 meters. I throw this over here, 700 meters. So if I make contact as the SL and I immediately throw an observe on it, I can get a range very quickly, and my whole squad also gets that information. If you're a fire team lead, you can also throw out these observe markers, but it's not going to give you this range number over the top. We'll talk about that down the line. This does have a few limitations. Within 100 meters, it's going to give me 5-meter increments. So if you watch that number as I get closer, it goes down 5 meters at a time. If I throw this out to 300 meters, yeah, so now that I'm actually within 300 meters, 10 meters at a time. If I throw it out beyond that, it's going to be 50-meter increments. So the farther out you are, the less accurate this is. Usually this isn't a huge problem. The difference between 700 and 600 meters, unless you're an AT, is, pretty close. Just keep an eye out on that. It's not without its restrictions. Other restrictions include the fact that if you're not the SL, or if the SL is busy, or if they're already using a mark, you can't have everything marked at once. So if you're trying to get the distance to some other infantry target, you're out of luck. So let's talk about some of your other tools. The next tool is the map grid. The map is divided into grid squares. These largest grid squares are 300 meters across. When you zoom in, the next layer of grid squares are 100 meters across. The smallest layer of grid squares are 33.3 meters across. You can use this to estimate range between you and a target, whether it's one of your own fireteam lead markers or an enemy indicator. So if I look here, I can say that's about a grid square, so that's probably 100 meters out. So if I look here, it's one of your own fireteam lead markers or an enemy indicator. So if I look here, I can say that's about a grid square, so that's probably 100 meters out. And if I put somebody here, I can say, okay, they're within 100 meters because I got 3 of these smaller squares, so I know they're about 100 meters away. If they're out here, they're over a kilometer away. Unless you're a TOW or a mortar, you're probably safe distance. That's a quick and dirty way to estimate distances. It's really helpful. If you've got good, accurate marks on your map, or if you're going towards a physical objective, something that's hard-coded into the map. So on and so forth. So just knowing your distances, so you can quickly say in a firefight, it's about 100 meters out. That's very helpful. One of the last tools at your disposal are rangefinders. Again, if you haven't developed the ability to just look at somebody and say, yeah, that's exactly X meters away, then rangefinders are really important. Every single pair of binoculars in the game has a rangefinder, and a limited number of scoped rifles also have them. Here's how these things work. With your binoculars or your scoped rifle that has a rangefinder out, look at your target. Near the upper right hand, in this case, you've got this sloping line. I'm going to line up my target inside that sloping line. Okay, there. Right between the 4 and the 2, that means that target is approximately 300 meters out. That target there fits at the 2 mark, 200 meters out. That target there fits at the 400 mark, 400 meters out. The slope tells you the height of the average enemy soldier at that distance. So you can quickly get an estimate on this. Again, some rifles have this built in, and some anti-tank weapons, so on and so forth, but they're going to have their own small differences. So like you can see, this rangefinder is kind of small and at the edge of my vision. It's kind of difficult to use. You can also use this with vehicles. Looking from here, I'm going to line this tank up, and I can safely say that tank is probably about 500 meters out. What I'm doing here is I'm measuring from the treads, and then I'm mostly ignoring the turret, because tanks and vehicles are usually bigger than a soldier. Especially, see this guy right here? That's a big Vic. So if I look at this one, I'm definitely going to want to ignore. So I'd estimate made that somewhere around 400 meters. Let's see if I'm right. Yeah, 350. So to make 350 make sense, right about there. Treads to turret. That's a quick and dirty way to measure the distance of targets to quickly get a read so you can give good intel, especially if you're not a squad leader. Now, certain vehicles in the game also include an onboard rangefinder, which is super helpful. Right now, I am in the UK, one of the UK main battle tanks, and you can see this green number at the bottom of my screen as I look around. It's going to give me meters to the target. This is incredibly helpful, especially combined with a ranging grid like this one. Different vehicles are going to have different rangefinders. Some of them look really strange. The Canadian tank is a bizarre rangefinder. But when you have something like this, you're always going to have a measurement to your target. So that's an easy way to do things. This is a quick video about ranging your weapons. If you've already identified how far away the target is, see our other short video, then you're going to need to make sure that you're adjusting your fire accordingly in order to hit them. Not all, but the vast majority of weapons are ranged for 200 meters. So if I aim right at that target, and I am a terrible shot, don't hold this against me, I should be, if I didn't suck, I'd be actually hitting those guys. Because they're within 200 meters. Yeah, I got that one, alright? But if I'm shooting at one of those things way farther off, I'm going to be missing my shots because the bullets are just going to drop. Different weapons have different solutions to this problem. With some weapons, you just need to adjust your aim higher, and they have tools that'll show you how to do that. But some weapons have to be ranged. This is the standard Ironsights US rifle. You'll notice this wheel on the left-hand side with different numbers on it. That is the ranger. So if I hold down the X as an X-ray key on my keyboard and use the scroll wheel, you can see that the range on my weapon adjusts. So I can set the range, and now if I fire at a target 400 meters out, that's what I should be hitting. And if I fire at a target 100 meters out, my shots might miss because they're automatically arcing over it. One thing to note is that if you die and respawn, sometimes these weapon settings will preserve themselves. So whenever you're using a weapon that has ranging, always make sure that you adjust it back to normal. The most important example of this is AT kits. Most anti-tank kits include ranging because you're going to be taking anti-tank engagements at a very long distance. So if I pull out the AT kit right here for the US, this is the light anti-tank, the LAT, and I aim at that target 200 meters out, you'll see my ranging. Here's 100 meter ranging, 200 meter ranging, 500 meter ranging. If I fire at this thing at 500 meter ranging, it's going to go flying right over. Yep, I hit the sign above it. So always make sure, especially with AT kits, but with a lot of other kits and some vehicles, that you adjust your ranging. On weapons that don't have ranging like that, they usually have a grid on the scope that's going to help you hit your target. So I'll just go ahead and pick a scoped rifle for the US. Now when I aim, I've got a little rangefinder at the bottom. This US one's kind of hard to see, but you've got various lines. So my default ranging should be 200 meters. Yep. But if I aim at this 400 meter target, nothing done. I'm going to line it up with the 4 on my scope. Again, kind of hard to see on this one. Now I got my target. And if I want to hit, okay, there's nobody at 600 meters, but there's a line between 4 and 6. So if I catch my breath and then pause and line up the shot and fire. Yeah, that one I missed because I'm just terrible. Okay, yeah, there you go. So you just line up your shot with whatever the distance is on your weapon. Here I am in the Bradley, the US Infantry Fighting Vehicle IFV. Notice I've got a handy dandy rangefinder and nice big bright red numbers at the bottom of my screen. And when I zoom in, I get this useful scope. So now I know, how many layers? I have 1 layer of zoom. So now I know, okay, that target is 500 meters out. This line right here is for 400 meters. So I probably want to shoot maybe just above that line in order to hit this thing. Got one. Also, I kind of have to aim off to the side, but you know. And then if I want to hit this target at 400 meters, I'm going to aim right here. And then if I want to hit this target, you can see the Bradley has way better ranges on it. So if I want to hit a bad boy at... at a kilometer, you'll also see that I've got a couple different things on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. One is labeled HE and one's labeled AP. So right now I'm using the armor-piercing Sabo rounds, so I want to make sure I'm using the right-hand side ranging. So if that target is at 1250, yeah, you can see I'm going to have to do a little bit of tweaking in order to get it exactly where I want it. And it's also going to be a lot easier for me to hit that vehicle than it is going to be for me to hit an infantry target, because that's not what this thing is designed to do. And then if I want to switch to a target that's 1,000 meters away, I'm going to be somewhere in between here. Dirt. There we go. Sparks. I'm hitting the wreck. So these range finding devices are super helpful. Some vehicles, again, actually have ranging where you hold down X and use the scroll wheel, but most of the time you're just going to be using one of these fancy doohickeys.
Talk to me about